What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Getting Technical, episode 60.
Ooh.
Landmark episode and a big day for the pod. We hit 1K subscribers on YouTube.
That's it, baby.
So if you're watching this and you aren't subscribe
like
to the boys.
and subscribe.
Do the boys a solid. It's free.
That's it.
We appreciate it.
1,000 people subscribed to Getting Technical.
Crazy.
Unfreaking
1,000
real.
subs, man.
Love it. It was actually my buddy at work. He was like talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, you do a pod?" He didn't even believe me at first.
No,
and I kept telling him I do a sports pod, and he was like, "No way." And he looked it up, and I showed it to him, and then he sent us a little subscription.
What's his name?
Pete Linow.
Shout out to Pete. 1K, Mr. 1K. I have my boy Colin from work was our 500th subscriber. That was a few months back.
Let's go.
Now we got 1,000 and football season's officially here. So
what a
week
time.
one was weird, honestly.
And
I had a great time watching football. I was excited. The weather was perfect on Sunday.
Absolutely gorgeous Sunday.
Nags was good.
Nags was popping. The boys were buzzing. The bets were flowing. The losses were heavy.
Dude, the wings at Nags on football Sunday are so good.
The food is so good. Honestly, they needed to be a little hotter. They were like the food was like a tad cold, or the wings were a little cold. But I mean,
they were good,
everything else, dude. It's the glizzies. The glizzies were gobbled.
Bro, it was so awkward because I walked in and me and Nick got there we got there at the same time, I think, and we were like 15 minutes after kick, we were mid first quarter, so I was honestly just under the impression that the food was already out, people were eating. Yeah. So I'm starving. I hadn't eaten. I literally walk up and I think the lady she was setting it up, and I didn't realize I thought she was getting food. So I'm lifting up the tins and stuff. Yeah. She's like, "Oh yeah, they'll be ready in a second." I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm such an ass."
I think they're usually a little quicker. I think the guy brought them in. I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna complain. I mean, it's free. So I mean. Listen, if you're in the Huntington area on Nags. Sundays, go to Nags. We got free food. Like I said, great drinks, great bartenders. The guys there are
cheap drinks too. It's not that bad.
Nah, $25 buckets. Domestics. I mean, it's and honestly, they have a great football viewing setup. I mean, they have all TVs all around. Couple channels of red zones, the local channels. They got direct TV with other games and stuff. So I mean,
I like that it's not too crowded either. There's a good crowd. If you go when we go with
you're moving around.
It's good. It's perfect.
Yeah, you can talk to the guys next to you. It's not it's not blaring in your ears. So I mean, that's the greatest bar east of Mississippi. So I mean,
it ain't bad.
But
yeah. So week one, I mean, honestly, bro, week one was weird. I think I saw a stat. I think I was listening to Capsule or something, and they were saying that it was the first time in 10 years that quarterbacks average it was one of the lowest passing yards in a week one in the past 15 years.
There's also a handful of rookies. So between the Caleb Williams, the Jaden Daniels, the Bo Nixes. So I mean, those guys aren't going to be going out there producing right off the bat.
But even Dak, had 167 yards. Rodgers threw for 100 and something. I'm pulling it up right here.
But I mean, it's week one. I feel like week one tends to be a tad slower, especially now that teams really aren't putting an emphasis on having them play preseason games. A lot of them aren't playing any preseason. If they'll play a few quarters or one quarter, a few drives at most. Unless there's a quarterback battle going on. Mahomes, did he play any preseason?
I don't know.
Is Jalen Hurts playing preseason?
No.
Rodgers didn't play any preseason.
But the thing that's crazy is if you look at this, look at these quarterbacks threw under 200 yards week one. Dak Prescott, Geno Smith, who you might not think he's a great quarterback, he still slings the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray,
expected.
Kirk Cousins, Justin Herbert. These are guys you're used to seeing throw.
Cousins and the Falcons looked terrible.
Dude, it was bad.
That was bad.
It was bad. You could just tell that he's not 100%. Or he just hasn't recovered right, and he's just kind of old.
I don't know if
the line
was bad.
The line was horrible.
And don't get me wrong, the Steelers did this a lot last year, where it was just immediate pressure. They were winning low-scoring games. I mean, they were a 9-win team. And they had Kenny Pickett, who's horrific. He's one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play football. and they won 9 games with him last year. I mean, he wasn't there the whole season, but I think he played 12 of the games last year.
Right,
The guy threw 6 touchdowns in 12 games. 6.
Yeah, it's just like any team coached by Mike Tomlin with T.J. Watt on their defense. It's just they're just gonna give you trouble.
The defense was elite again for them this week. They scored no touchdowns again. It was 18 points off field goals. I mean, it was insane. I mean, if they're going to do that a handful of times again this year, if that offense can't get going.
But their offense it's already noticeably better. Like week 1, Justin Fields, he's not supposed to be the starter.
I think they're going to ride him out. And I think that's the smarter move. Let Justin Fields opens up so much more options for you with RPOs, like the ability to run bootlegs and all kinds of things. You can get him out of the pocket. You don't have to worry about what's it called? The offensive line having to form a pocket for him every time because he's able to freely move. Russell Wilson's getting older; he's a little more stagnant. He can't really do that as much. So I think it's a smarter move keeping him there.
Yeah, but you could already see, Justin Fields. People are not high on him as a thrower, but he was already like miles better than anything you got from Kenny Pickett. You could see
6 touchdowns in 12 games. Every other game, Kenny Pickett threw a touchdown.
That's you could see
horrible.
George Pickens. He was getting involved in the offense finally last year.
Yes.
Somehow he had 1,000. I think he had like 1,000-yard season on like 65 catches.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna have that kid Roman Wilson come back from Michigan in a few weeks, so that'll add another target for him. Is Freiermuth playing?
I
don't know either, but I mean they have a couple of good targets. I'm high on Najee Harris, who had a solid game.
He did. If he can start finding the end zone, Najee Harris, and I know that Jalen Warren, he's coming back from injury, so he only played I think like 30% of the snaps. He's their pass catching back. But if Najee can keep that volume and get 15 to 20 carries a game, and he could find his way to scoring a touchdown, maybe catch a pass or two, like he's a legit fantasy, asset. Which if you got Najee Harris where he was being drafted, that's great. Honestly.
Absolutely,
it's a steal for where he was.
What did Fields last week? 156 yards.
How many rushing yards?
He had 57 rushing yards. So he only had 12 fantasy points, but once again, he didn't find the end zone.
Yeah, he'll find the end zone.
So if he throws a touchdown, once again, throws and runs a touchdown, that's another 10 points. So that's a 21-point day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw Jaden Daniels, the rookie quarterback, who was one of my sleepers that I said to get on your roster.
Yeah.
28 fantasy points.
You and everybody else.
Yeah. I said it on the pod.
I know. What I'm saying is like, is it a sleeper when everybody says to draft the kid because of his rushing upsides?
I mean, people were like, oh, like now that they have a real QB, like Terry's like gonna be Terry McLaurin had like 2 for 14. It was a weird. If we're talking fantasy, it was a weird week for fantasy.
The Commanders just hate Terry for some reason. He's just so good, and
every year I look at and every other year I end up drafting him. I talk myself into. I'm like, I know Terry McLaurin's like a great wide receiver, but I know he's not going to get the ball. And everyone's like,
they just don't run offenses.
Yeah, they were like, all the people on TikTok were like, he's got no competition this year. Like they've got a new quarterback.
He
like,
really had. There's no I don't need like Jahan. Is it even Jahan
no,
Dotson? He's gone. So it's like
Eagles.
they're like, who even is the number 2 receiver for them?
I don't know.
Like who caught these passes from Jaden Daniels?
I really don't know.
Talking about like taxi cab drivers out here, just.
Oh, I think he threw to the running. I don't know who even there. Let me look at this stats.
Running backs are. I mean, Eckler had.
Well, Eckler had like 50 yards receiving, I think.
Right.
Yeah, Eckler was their leading receiver, 4 yards, and then Brian Robinson with 4 receptions for 52 yards. Brian Robinson 3 for 49. Luke McCaffrey 3 for 18.
Okay.
Terry McLaurin though 2 for 17. And then you got Jane Daniel. I mean, when you can run it 16 for 88 and 2 touchdowns, I mean why not?
If they could get the ball to McCaffrey, McLaurin, Ertz, and then Eckler out the backfield too, that's not bad targets, but it's just Brian Robinson should be getting way more carries. Like Jaden Daniels should be rushing the ball 16 times. They did say though that they want him sitting in the pocket because it's 17 of 24. That's really fucking good.
Yeah.
So sit in the pocket and throw the ball, but he's got to get him to the receivers. Your backup running back can't be your number 1 target.
Yeah. You want to talk Ravens Chiefs?
Talk about how the Ravens can't get past the Chiefs.
I think that the thing that was most alarming to me, like week 1, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. But the Ravens offensive line, they lost some pieces. It looked terrible.
Yeah, you
got
Morgan.
Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry, I don't care what anyone says. He's old. He's still a great running back. Like he's gonna have those weeks, But when the line is like, they can't block anyone. He's getting hit in the backfield every time.
They lost their starting right tackle and left guard. I don't know about anybody else, but I just know those two guys because they went to the Jets.
Yeah.
So Morgan Moses gone. John Simpson, who they say is like one of the better run blocking guards, but like you're saying, if you can't get a push off the line for Derrick Henry, what are you looking at?
The battery.
You need to get a push off the line, even for Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry can't block or break every tackle.
No,
he's got to be able to get into the second level. That's where he's dangerous because he can run through linebackers and safeties. He's not running through defensive tackles. Like I know he's a monstrous guy, but I mean these defensive tackles and ends are massive dudes. They're like he's not breaking these tackles all the time.
Yeah, and also
they can't.
If you obviously they hung with the Chiefs, they easily could have won the game. They were going to go for 2.
Yeah.
If he missed Zay Flowers, which is brutal. He was wide open.
Absolutely
screwed my fantasy team
That was a
too.
horrible throw. But that was another one. Zay Flowers not really a great game.
No, 10 targets. He was throwing little screen
like
passes
he
to him.
wasn't
but then
really
there he was wide open in the end zone.
Yeah.
He had him. It would have been a 20-yard touchdown pass, and he just completely missed him. No one was even near him. But if the real thing too, outside of their line, is that if Lamar has to run the ball, he was getting killed.
Yeah.
You cannot, and they're gonna play bad teams, so they'll be fine in that regard.
I mean, we said last week like this was going to be a loss for them, right? We said Chiefs win.
I think so.
I mean, but Savion brought up a good point. Like the penalties in that first drive. What was it? 2 or 3 on illegal formations on the offensive lineman being too far back. That is strange. Calling those multiple times in one drive, honestly, right off the bat like that.
Even if it technically is like a flag, it's like, dude, it's the first game of the season. It's the guy's 2 inches.
No one calls that crap.
So stupid.
No one calls that. And supposedly they were talking about in the Niner game that this was the most that illegal formations have been called. They've put like a huge emphasis on it with the refs. I don't fucking know, but they said it was called like 23 or 24 times in week 1 alone. Illegal form, like on a lineman because he's a little too far back. I don't know. It's just
I don't know. I mean, they have a few rookies on their line, the Ravens, right? I think.
I don't know.
Either way, it's a new line. I think they'll be fine. They're going to win 13, 14.
They'll be all right.
It just comes down to in the playoffs, are they going to be able to block and they're going to be able to open things up for Derrick Henry so Lamar can work. And then you saw
this is the issue. Are they going to be able to get past the Chiefs? Which in recent history for Lamar is no. They're not able to get past the Chiefs. They're probably right now. I would say they struggle against Buffalo. Buffalo's high-powered offense, solid enough defense to maybe able to contain if they're they kind of come up with a good game plan. But I don't think they could even beat Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't know. Buffalo didn't look awesome this week,
but
they're still getting used to the no digs.
Yeah, I mean, but they still put up points.
Yeah,
they still put up 30 points, I think.
You want to talk a little Eagles? Little Saquon?
Little Saquon, how you doing? What a slap to the face of the Giants. Oh, man, 3 tutties. He looked so good.
And then to come off that, like the Giants just having a game where they just cannot get any offense. And it's just like, we kind of knew this, but Saquon was the entire offense.
Right. And people talk about how could he go to the Eagles? Well, when you don't give him a contract and you slap a franchise tag on him and then you're still not giving him a contract that's worth what he's worth. And yeah, he only signed for, I think, like $1 million or more from the Eagles. But it was a fuck you to the Giants. The Giants should have signed this guy 2 years ago. But Giant fans are they're like any other New York fan. A guy gets hurt. It's what have you done for me lately? So they were like, oh, he's injury prone. I don't want this guy. Yeah. And the next year comes out on the tag, balls out. And then he looked freaking great in game 1.
Yeah, no, he's going to be fine. But also, it doesn't hurt going from one of the worst offensive lines to one of the best.
Yeah. to having like a competent coaching staff.
Exactly.
I can't even say that because I don't think the problem is Dabble, even though he's going to get canned this year.
The problem is the front office.
The problem is Daniel Jones.
That's who they picked, Daniel Jones over Saquon.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones.
I don't blame him at the time. Like he was coming off his best season ever. They won a playoff game.
It's just not
good.
His best season ever was like 22 passing touchdowns. It wasn't anything crazy. It's not like he threw 35 touchdowns.
No.
He threw in the low 20s.
You could have made the argument, though, outside of Saquon, he didn't really have any great weapons, which, he didn't. And the line was a little sketchy, but
right. But I mean,
he's just not that guy.
I mean, we're going to talk about the same thing with Deshaun Watson. He's got this gigantic contract because he had.
That's a 10 times worse situation than the Giants are in.
Yeah, because they're locked in for
they're
guaranteed
and that guy
money.
is terrible.
Yeah, but at least
he's also just a bad guy.
I mean, yeah.
At least Daniel Jones.
But the two of these teams are a quarterback away from. Being good. I mean, you saw it last year. Joe Flacco was able to get this team hot and running with no Nick Chubb. So, I mean, and it's essentially the same team, actually with a better number 2 receiver in Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
So you have Amari Cooper, you have Jerry Jeudy, Jerome Ford, who showed that he could be a solid running back.
They'll get Nick Chubb back.
Nick Chubb will eventually come back, and Njoku will come back. They're going to be good. They just
so
have.
Bad.
He's just
you saw
bad.
the clip of the lineman didn't even want him to help him up.
That there had to be something in that. I can't imagine that.
It just seems like bad vibes.
Is he just maybe he's just a really bad dude all around.
Yeah, I mean we could talk some Jets. I mean it was a rough first outing, but
let me tell you.
The worst part was just you thought the defense was going to be elite, and that was the main issue. The offense couldn't really get anything going. They didn't help them out at all. But
they got punched in the mouth quick. And I don't know if it's because they were trying, and I called Oberding, and he was telling me Elmore kind of broke it down. And I don't know if this is because when they figured out McCaffrey was out, it all became about Brock Purdy or what. But he was looking at all the film, and he was saying that they were outmanned in the run game, meaning that they weren't putting enough guys in the box. Every single time that they ran the ball, they had an extra blocker out there on the San Francisco side. So they were able to just get those guys to the second level, get to the linebackers early. So Mason, right? Yeah, Mason.
Jordan Mason?
Jordan Mason. Wasn't he
just destroyed them in every aspect.
They were getting pushed off the line. Second, they were able to get to the second level quick, so that Mason wasn't getting touched for the first 3, 4, 5 yards. So it was just a recipe for disaster.
They just got bullied. They got manhandled, bullied, whatever you want to say. It was embarrassing.
Saleh came out in this press conference and he says we adjusted a lot better in the second half, which they did. But if he still ran pretty well, but he didn't run as well. But it was by that time it was too late because then, they were able to open up the playbook. The passing was starting to go in. A big fucking throw to Juszczyk. Jawan Jennings had a couple deep balls. Ayuk started getting a little bit involved. So it's by that time it was just too late. The offense couldn't get going. Drop pass early by fucking Lazard. Fumble by Brees. Just killers.
It's the 3 things that stood out to me in the Jets offense was, well, actually it's probably more than that, but the pass protection looked good.
Yes.
And Rodgers said that he was on the McAfee show. He felt pretty good back there. He said he thinks he'll be every week. Obviously, he'll feel more comfortable. But the run blocking was fucking dog shit.
Yeah, it was.
Brees was another guy. Brees had a terrible game, but he's another guy. He's getting hit before he gets out of the backfield.
Yeah, he's getting met at the line of scrimmage. That was the whole thing. Is that the guy Simpson is supposed to be a really good run blocker. The only thing I'll say is Vera Tucker is coming off 2 big injuries. Tittman was good run blocking wise, and Tyron Smith has been on an offensive line that has been elite running backs for years. But I mean,
he's one of the biggest humans I've ever seen.
Right, but I don't know. I don't know if the game plan was wrong again. I don't know if it's Hackett. I don't know what it is.
Hackett is not. The coaching was what's also stood out. I mean. It's 3rd and 1. The run game isn't working at all. The pass game's kind of working. We're running a halfback dive, and Brees is getting hit before he gets out of the backfield.
You're running a halfback dive with Ruckert as a fullback. You ran a 2 fullback with Ruckert and Lazard.
Yeah,
it was hey guys, what do you think's fucking coming here? Run a play action.
Yeah,
they had drives that were just stalling out, running heavy, and like you said, the run game's not working. Just fucking throw the ball. I don't care that it's Aaron Rodgers. He's got 2 more seasons left in him. If that, let him throw his arm out. Let him throw 40 times. If
Garrett Wilson was getting open every time.
Garrett Wilson was open. Lazard started getting open.
Lazard had outside of that drive-killing drop, which is just insane. I think middle school football players would have caught
I know. I think that might have just been a jitters thing.
Yeah.
But then,
he was great.
But then a nice contested catch, the first touchdown off the offsides. They had some good spark plays, but they need to put more drives together. And that was the same problem last year. It was spark plays, but not putting drives together.
I mean, that first good drive was Probably, I'm not kidding. I think as far as like a Jets fan, like offensively, like a good looking drive. That's one of the best drives that in our lifetime the Jets have ever had.
I mean, I think that's a little bit of a drag.
The bar is so low.
I know the bar is low, but I mean, I don't want to. I'm not going to shame Zach Wilson out here. The guy's been through enough.
That was a fucking beautiful drive.
I was in straight up panic mode all Sunday or Monday, and I'm talking with our boy Joe. And he's like, dude, just relax, keep calm. And I'm sitting there, but like, I was in panic mode. I was like, our defense looked horrendous. Couldn't get any push. Our guys were getting no pressure on Purdy. He was completing passes to fucking deep balls to Juszczyk. I was like, geez, fucking
DJ Reed got exposed.
DJ Reed. I don't know.
The safeties were not looking good.
Yeah.
Jermaine Johnson. Did you see that tweet that Jermaine Johnson was like one of the lowest rated PFF guys this week?
Yeah. I mean,
he was like telling people he's going to be like one of the best in the league this year.
Breakout guy. I think Hassan Reddick was loving every bit of that game because he now has gained some leverage back. And like, listen, if you want to keep your job, Joe Douglas, you better give me my fucking money. Because he's on the hot seat.
Oh, he has to be.
I don't care.
The Will McDonald pick too. He doesn't look good at all.
No,
that's another first round pick.
That's the other thing too. You don't go ahead and sign Hassan Reddick. There were drives out there. We're putting 3 out of the 4 defensive linemen out there are undrafted free agents. And these were guys that were getting those PFF, ratings through the roof in preseason games against backups. But then you played a real team. You played a Super Bowl contender, and you got punched in the mouth and did not respond.
Yeah.
So that's what really got me really agitated and got me kind of panicking. But then, you kind of settle down, you rethink things, and you're like, it's week 1.
They're playing one of the best teams in football.
Right.
Not the best team in football.
Yeah, you're playing one of the most talented teams in football. These are a bunch of guys that, they need to keep playing together. They didn't really play preseason together. All they did was practice and play scrimmages. It's not the same. They're going to go in and play Tennessee this week, and I'm feeling confident again that our defense is going to be able to handle Will Levis.
I mean, if they can't handle Will Levis, we got real issues.
I think these next few weeks are against.
They should be 4-1 if things go well.
These next few weeks are against some mediocre teams, with excluding Sam Darnold, who is GOAT, the prince that was promised, Sammy D. They have some easy games coming up, so I'm calmed down. I'm better. But if they can't handle Will Levis this week, then I would honestly say it's panic time, because the defense needs to be able to handle mediocre QBs like Will Levis.
The Caleb Williams threw less than 100 yards and the Bears beat them, and it was basically all defensive scores and field goals.
Because so did Will Levis.
Yeah,
Will Levis threw for under 100 yards. He looked terrible too. Caleb Williams didn't look good. It's just if we can't handle bad teams like that,
we're screwed.
Yeah, that good teams beat bad teams.
Yeah. I'm thinking we do a Baker Mayfield would you rather.
Baker Mayfield would you rather. I'm thinking I'm gonna get a whole lot of doesn't know ball comments.
Oh, so you're going all in on Baker?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, would you rather Baker Mayfield edition? First up, Baker Mayfield or Kirk Cousins?
Right, and I'm a huge Kirk guy right now. Baker Mayfield.
Right now, it's Baker for sure. Julian's gonna love this one. Baker Mayfield or Trevor Lawrence?
Come on, that's not even. If you honestly say Trevor Lawrence, you don't know ball. Baker Mayfield has been playing so well.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence might be the most. Kleberg fucking texted us after the Monday night game, being like, "Oh, week 1 goes to Trevor Lawrence because he didn't throw an interception because Aaron Rodgers had a mediocre game as well." So he's so middle of the pack. It's unbelievable. Baker Mayfield keeps playing like this. He's going to be pushing top 10, top 7.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Baker Mayfield or Tua? I'm going Baker Mayfield. I think Tua's good.
Let's not.
All right. Let's say you gave Baker Mayfield that offense.
He has Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
Yeah, but he's also I don't think his numbers are that far off. He threw 4 touchdowns.
I'm not saying, but like you can't say that. Like you can't say give him that offense as if he doesn't have a really good offense.
He does have a really good offense.
He has a really good offense.
I don't know. I don't see much of a difference.
I think I'm not saying Tua is like light years better, but I think like Tua.
I think it's close, and I think I would lean Baker right now. Dolphins fans are gonna hate that.
I'm not leaning Baker. I'm sticking with Tua.
Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray?
Baker. Fantasy? We're talking just having them or fantasy?
No, just having them. Real football. We're talking real ball.
Yeah, okay. I mean, even if fantasy, honestly, you probably could still go Baker, but I'm going Baker Mayfield over Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's got to come and play and show up. He's got to show something.
It's close right now. I'll go Baker. I think if Kyler has a good year, though, I think it's pretty comfortably Kyler. He just hasn't been playing enough recently. No. Baker Mayfield or Brock Purdy?
Purdy.
Yeah, Brock Purdy. All right. For sure.
All right. I thought we were
no.
I was going to say.
I mean, they're really, there's a few that I could do where he's obviously better. Those were like the best ones, I would say. Next, I got Baker Mayfield or Dak. Easily Dak. You think Baker Mayfield's better than Dak?
Fuck Dak Prescott, bro. Fuck him. Baker Mayfield. Absolutely. Absolutely
Dak
Baker.
Prescott is better than Baker,
no,
bro. Why does Dak get so much disrespect for no reason?
Honestly, because he is ass in the playoffs. He's terrible.
He is ass in the playoffs.
It is Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield
he
kicked his ass.
Fucking playoffs last year.
He kicked his ass.
And fucking dominated him last year.
All right.
So that shows you who's better. Right, Blaze? Fuck Dak Prescott.
All right. Next up. What are you doing? You're taking a picture of us?
I'm putting it on your grandma's dog. I'm saying Obi's ducking.
Obi's at work right now. I actually called him.
All right. I got 2 more. Baker Mayfield or Matt Stafford?
Stafford.
100% Stafford.
Right, Stafford, come on.
And last up. Do I want to do this one? I'm like thinking about it, and I.
You gonna say Herbert?
No. I think I just lost it.
Burrow? No. Baker Mayfield or Joe Burrow?
That wasn't it.
I'm saying Baker Mayfield or Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Baker Mayfield.
I think Joe Burrow's still hurt. Wait. Did you say Baker Mayfield or Joe Burrow?
Yeah. What has Joe Burrow done besides be hurt?
That's true, but fully healthy, and I don't think he's
Your
fully healthy. Your
best ability is availability, boys.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right. I wish I could, because I could. I'm trying to think of who else it could have been.
Well, let's see.
Oh, so you put 2.
Baker Mayfield or Anthony Richardson?
I just like Anthony Richardson barely played, so like
right.
I don't. That's why I didn't. I thought about it. I didn't put him in because I was like he just hasn't played football. That was it. Baker Mayfield or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
I'm still going Jalen Hurts. There's been a lot of Jalen Hurts disrespect on the internet.
Listen, Jalen Hurts.
There's been a lot of Jalen Hurts disrespect, and I just don't understand why.
Listen, Jalen Hurts is just better. He can throw the ball really well. He also can run a lot better. He's just like
Jalen Hurts has everything you want out of a quarterback.
Yeah, your offense is way.
He's a leader.
Yeah, your offense is better off with Jalen Hurts on
exactly.
it. Absolutely.
Like, yeah, he can throw the ball. I don't know where this comes from that he can't. We saw what he did in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I mean, he was fantastic in the Super Bowl. He just lost to Patty Mahomes.
Against good teams, does he struggle a little bit? But who doesn't? Even Tom Brady struggles against good teams.
Yeah.
You put a good defense across from a quarterback. I don't care how good they are. The defense can prevail on them.
Yeah. All right. Wait. So let me. This is this game that I worked up.
Dak Prescott.
This is this game I worked up.
Get fucked.
All right. Ready? So this is 15 words or less. 15 words or less is the game. I made it week 1. I do not think you're gonna get these.
I'm not even fully. You have to just give me. You have 15 words to just tell me, and I have to guess what you're saying.
4, 5,
so
6, 7, 8. There's 8 answers.
So like you said,
I have to give you words that. So I have to give you hints.
You basically have to just go words. King, Ravens, running back, Henry.
Sure. That'd be like.
But
if it was Aaron Rodgers, I'd say ayahuasca.
But I'm trying to do it in as little words as possible.
I'm gonna give you a little. Right, but
I'm trying to make the guess in as little words. Okay.
All right.
I think I understand.
15 words or less, week 1 edition of the NFL.
All right.
So I'm going to start off easy. Worst team.
Giants? Are they not?
Just
Raiders?
No. Is my The Panthers.
Oh, yeah.
So you already failed.
Yeah. That's true.
We didn't even get through 1.
Honestly, the Panthers they're a college football team, so
they're the worst team in football by a mile.
They are bad. I mean, I don't know about a mile.
Yeah, by a mile. They lost 47-10 to the Saints.
I put up more points to the Giants.
Because
they lost to Sam Darnold. They put up 2 field goals against Minnesota. He got ran out the room
right,
by
we're just
Sam
gonna-
Darnold
all
and
right,
the
all right,
49ers.
Next up. Pulled over.
Tyreek.
Butterfingers.
Lazard?
Yep. Oh, let's
right.
go. I wasn't sure you get that one. Washed.
Washed. Give me another one. Oh, don't give me Kirk. Come on,
Kirk
really?
is the answer.
Fucking game 1 wash. Oh my god! What, did you see the list earlier? You go washed.
He
You give
didn't
me Kirk.
see it. He just knows. All right.
bugging.
Back
Kirk.
up. This one's easy.
Backup? Who was the backup that played this week? Jacoby Brissett? I don't know. What?
Niner. Burke is in tune
Mason?
with these.
Oh my god! But like you saying backup and you just know Mason.
He torched us. He's the backup.
There were plenty of backups that freaking had to play.
I thought you were going Darnold.
Oh, see? You thought you went Darnold.
All right. Water bottle. I don't know if you saw this meme.
No. Joe Burrow.
Yes,
Joe
let's
Burrow.
go.
I did see that one. Yes. He didn't pick up the water bottle.
Bust.
Bo Nix.
No.
Fantasy bust.
Oh, you have him.
I have him. Marvin Harrison
Yes.
Jr.
It was just a joke. Like, it was just a joke, and you have him on your fantasy
He
team.
got fucking. That's not his. I thought we were going the quarterback route.
And then I have.
I was gonna say
the
the-
last one is still great.
Still great. Mm-hmm. Henry. You're saying him before.
Prime time.
Prime time. Still. Cooper Kupp.
Let's go.
There we go, baby.
Oh, we gotta get you used to. You had some good ones. You had some good polls.
You gotta give me a cut. Like, no,
I'm not gonna lie, it was hard as week 1, so you had to be like relevant to, you know,
feel like-
you had to be in tune for these.
I honestly not getting the Panthers one. I'm kind of upset with myself.
You did good with the Butterfingers. Was a hard one that you got.
I honestly wiped that Panthers game. Like I watched that game and it just unfolded nags. I was like, geez Louise, like that game almost didn't even happen. It was so bad. It was.
I think you could make an argument that Panthers Saints game and that Giants Vikings game were 2 of the worst NFL games in the past 10 years.
I just think because at least like the Saints have. No, I'm not even gonna say nothing. That was terrible. To lose that badly to the Saints was terrible. But to lose to fucking Sam Darnold 28-6 is not good either.
I mean, I was walking around the office. We were having some office debates about football, and I'm not a Giants fan by any means. I love to see the Giants fail. It's funny. Like, I don't hate them. They're just a clown show. But
It's bad.
I was saying to
getting
people,
the Mets
I was like, I'm not gonna lie, like I don't like the Giants, but like they might have one of the best defensive lines. Like I'm thinking Dexter Lawrence.
Their front seven is
Brian
really
Burns.
good, but
they couldn't get pressure on Sam Darnold.
They got some pressure, but it wasn't enough.
embarrassing.
It wasn't enough. Like Sam threw that one interception because Lawrence swatted his arm. They were getting to him, not like, they weren't getting a lot of sacks, but they got to him a little bit. But Sam honestly Sam looked really fucking good.
Sam looked really good.
Who would have thought it's actually the Jets' fault this kid sucked?
I think a lot of people thought that. He didn't look good when he was in Carolina, but also he wasn't in a great situation there. Didn't he have McCaffrey? Wasn't that the year he got traded?
He had McCaffrey, but then he got traded mid-year on him. No, he got dished mid-year. No.
I'm saying I think Darnold got hurt, and that's why because they were 3-0. Remember?
Yeah, like he was playing all right there. He had obviously no chance in San Fran.
No,
I think he played one game for them. I think.
Well, he was just he's just straight up backup. He would have.
Right, but I'm saying like I think there was a game or two that what's his name got hurt. Purdy got hurt, and he just really didn't do much.
Yeah,
but
they probably didn't even need.
They probably just handed the ball off.
I was liking that super team video we made. I was thinking we do NFC East.
NFC East super team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's make an NFC East super team. So
All right.
I mean,
Daniel Jones,
quarterback. Yeah, Daniel Jones at quarterback for sure. No, I think it's Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Yes.
I think Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott.
Absolutely. Honestly, I'm putting Jaden Daniels number 2. That's how much I hate Dak Prescott. Cowboys fans, come at me.
Oddly, I don't like the Cowboys, but for some reason, I don't mind Dak Prescott at all. I think he's pretty good.
And honestly, fucking called it. Like last week podcast, I was like, they'll keep Dak before they keep Micah, and then Dak a couple days later gets that gigantic fucking contract, and that is a good chance that Micah Parsons is gone.
I think they find a way to keep him.
They're gonna have to find some sort of money, but I mean, they might not be able to pay him.
Running back.
Saquon.
Yeah. For a second, I blanked on.
You were gonna say what, like Robinson or something?
No. I was just thinking of I just was looking at the teams and I was running through. It's obviously Saquon's not even remotely close.
Robinson would be like the number 2. That's really kind of.
I don't hate Devin Singletary at all. Obviously, he's not in that class, but I think he's a solid running back.
But I mean, honestly, even Eckler, I would put Eckler like kind of right there along with Singletary. But
I think if we're going 3 wide receivers, I think it's pretty easy. I think it's obviously CD and AJ Brown. I think it's Devonta Smith. Some might want to make an argument for Terry. I don't think so.
No, because it's not that Terry's bad. It's just Terry doesn't put up the numbers, and you can't say Malik Neighbors because he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, no, Devonta Smith is legit good.
I'm trying to think who's. Yeah, no, yeah.
It's Terry. Unless you want to make a case. Neighbors has played one NFL game.
Devonta Smith. I mean, if you want to talk ceiling, you can go with Neighbors, but Devonta Smith has put up very good numbers. Even the games they've had where AJ Brown's been hurt and out, Devonta Smith has stepped up.
Yeah,
he very much has. He's a very good receiver.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a number 1 in most places.
Tight ends between Goddard and Ferguson.
I'm going Goddard. I think he's a little more consistent. Ferguson,
he still only played like 1 full year. Really.
Right. That's
I
also,
like Ferguson a lot, but I would
that's
go
the
Goddard.
other thing is like Ferguson really just hasn't put a stamp on the league yet. Goddard's very consistent. He's banged up though now, right now, isn't he?
I think he's like always banged up. He's another one.
Yeah, but he didn't play last week, right? Did he?
I don't know. I don't have him in any league or anything. I'm not sure. So we'll go Goddard. Screw it. O-line's tough because I think 2 of the best offensive lines of football. I would probably lean Eagles right now, but
I'm absolutely
Cowboys always have a really good line.
I'm leaning Eagles. It's just
they lost a few guys to Cowboys. They lost Smith. They're not as good. Eagles have like best offensive line.
Yeah, I mean look how much they just dominated on the run game. You know, they were pretty solid.
Yeah, and then we got defense. I think defensive. What do we want to do? Defensive line. I would say it's probably Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, as an overall core, I'd probably lean towards the Eagles. But the front,
we're gonna include we're gonna include like Mike Parsons in that because we're not gonna do linebackers like.
No, I'm saying like front 7 wise. I mean, I think the Cowboys have a slight edge, but I I'm saying like overall defense.
Well, we got to do secondary as well.
Well, then, yeah, like secondary, I'm going to go Eagles, and then overall. But like, if I were to just grab like a defense, special teams, I'm grabbing the Eagles.
So we'll go Cowboys defensive line, and we'll go Eagles secondary. Eagles defense, like I don't know, they got a lot to prove this year.
I don't even.
The best punter?
I don't even know.
Whoever the Giants have, probably.
No.
Because he's got the most work cut out for him.
That guy's going to have a sore.
Best kicker is Brandon Aubrey. Although Jake Elliott.
Jake Elliott is electric.
The Cowboys and the Eagles have so much like random, like they have a lot of talent on both those teams. Like neither team will probably win the Super Bowl, but if you look at both their rosters,
the Cowboys can't win a Super Bowl. You know why? Because Dak Prescott's still their quarterback. The Eagles
got a lot of other issues.
Just having Dak Prescott as a quarterback is just
I mean that's the NFC East super team we got.
I'm still can't believe just worst team Panthers pulled over.
Washed Kirk.
Bust Marv Harrison.
That was just because he's on your fantasy team. He's not. He'll be completely fine.
I was thinking you were gonna go like Bo Nix, like
that was like the main story. Is like Marv had like one catch.
Williams.
He's the best wide receiver prospect.
I know.
In the past 20 years, and he comes out and gets like 1 or 2.
You got 2 targets.
Yeah, you see that thing? It was like Kyler was like, he basically was like, it's not my job to just target Marvin Harrison,
which is the most obscene thing I think I've ever heard. Where the offensive coordinator comes out and goes, "Yeah, I got to do a better job like designing plays for Marvin." Kyler comes out and goes, "That ain't my job to target him. It is exactly your fucking job. You are the quarterback. You're supposed to throw the ball to your receiver."
Makes no sense.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
You want to do quick week 2 predictions and then wrap it up?
Yeah, why not?
We got time.
Who's playing tomorrow? Bills Dolphins.
Let me
get a. I'm
gonna go Bills.
I'm gonna go Bills too. I think their offense is hot. I think they kind of have Miami in a good spot, just being familiar with them. I'm gonna go Buffalo.
I think they'll be good. Niners Vikings. Niners.
Sorry.
Sam.
You know what? Vikings. Upset alert. Upset alert.
Then we got the Seahawks and the Pats.
Seahawks. You
I'm
going
gonna go
Pats?
Pats.
You gonna go Pats? Defense looked really good last week.
Always looks good.
Defense
for the
looked
Pats.
really good.
Giants, Commanders.
Commanders.
Both teams are terrible, but I'm gonna go Commanders.
Commanders are a little bit better over
Chargers,
terrible.
Chargers.
Panthers, no Chargers.
Saints, Cowboys.
Saints.
I think it's a close game.
I'm
but
going
gonna
Saints.
I'll go
I'm
Cowboys.
gonna just keep rolling this. Fuck the Cowboys.
You're zagging.
What?
You're like zig and zag.
Uh,
I'm gonna go
is that
Cowboys.
what the kids are saying these days?
That's what Bill Simmons says. Sometimes it's kind of funny. He's the opposite of a child. But Colts, Packers.
I gotta go Colts because
I'm
no
gonna
Jordan
go,
Love.
No Jordan Love.
No
Colts.
Jordan
I do not
Love.
think Malik
I
Willis
mean,
is even a top 50
Anthony
quarterback.
Richardson. You're gonna go. Anthony Richardson going to go 10 of 28 with 3 long bombs, and everybody's
two
going
rushing touchdowns.
Everybody's going to glaze the fuck out of him still.
Browns, Jags. I'm gonna go Browns. I think their defense just finds a way to get them the win.
I don't think they do. I think it's going to be Jaguars. I think another mediocre ass game.
It's gonna be a worse game.
It's
That
going to be
red zone is just gonna always have on for some reason.
Yeah, this is going to be the most mid game ever. But I think Tank Bigsby and Etienne kind of run the ball well for them and get it done.
Yeah, Jets, Titans, Jets. Buccaneers, Lions. I'm going
Bucks.
Lions.
I'm going Bucks.
Lions. I think Amon-Ra has a bounce back. I think they start throwing the ball.
Yeah, but I think the
Bucks are going to be good this year.
I think I think the Bucks. I mean, Todd Bowles still there.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles finds a way to keep the Lions in check.
Ravens, Raiders. Rams, Cardinals, Rams. Even without Puka, it doesn't matter. Bengals, Chiefs. Especially with the way. I mean, you lose to the Pats week 1.
You want to talk about bust? Joe Burrow is reaching territory. If he has a bad year this year, he's reaching bust territory. So
yeah. Steelers, Broncos.
Steelers defense is just gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna get ugly.
Zach Wilson might be in that game.
Bears, Texans.
Bears offense. I don't even understand how they scored 24 points. I really don't.
Who? The Bears?
Yeah.
It was because their defense scored like 2. I think they had like 2 touchdowns.
They had a block punt and then a defensive touchdown and then it was just field goals.
And then Falcons, Eagles.
I think I'm going Eagles, but I think the Falcons look a little better. But I just don't think, like you were saying, like Kirk Cousins doesn't really look healthy yet. I don't think they just have enough firepower.
I'm gonna go Eagles, but I think it's a close game. I think Kirk looks a lot better. He has to. There's no way he's looking like that
if
again.
He's still banged up, there's a chance that Penix is in this season, like week 4 or 5.
There are already people calling for Penix.
If he's looking banged up and doesn't look like he can do it, then Penix might. Dude, you drafted him in fucking top 10.
No. I'm saying like it's so early. Like I don't think it's crazy.
You
signed Kirk to this huge deal.
It's crazy because you gave Kirk all that money, but
yeah,
that's what it is.
But yeah,
woo, good timing.
Good app.